Good day. We are going to discuss the reconciliation of the three approaches. Before anything else, when we say business valuation, it is the process of determining the economic value of a business. It is used for various purposes such as selling a business, securing investments, mergers and acquisitions, financial reporting, tax assessments, and legal disputes. The valuator makes sure that they use the following three approaches to get the final value. So ito na yung income approach, market approach, and asset approach that was already discussed by the past reporters. However, yung business valuation po is more than that. It also includes the reconciliation of values. So, itong reconciliation of values po is very important kasi actually, ito yung magkokompleto ng valuation process. So, that is after the three approaches. So, yung mga appraisers or yung mga professional who evaluates and assign value sa mga assets, they use many different methods at the same time to get different values, which are, yun na nga, yung tatlo, yung income, market, and asset approaches. And once this are obtained, the final step talaga in valuating a company is through reconciling the approaches. Now, why is reconciliation important? First is it balances multiple perspectives. So, different valuation methods focus on different aspects of the business. So, for example nga, yung income approach, it looks at the profitability, while yung asset approach naman, it focuses on the company's tangible worth. So, through reconciliation of those approaches, nababalanse yung mga perspectives na to. So, second is, it avoids over-reliance on a single method. So, no single method is perfect in all situations kasi. So, yung mga appraisers, they reconcile values to avoid misrepresenting the company's true worth. And third is, it ensures market consistency. So, yung reconciled value must be reasonable in comparison to industry standards and similar businesses. Now, how does it work? So, when market-based and income approach values are higher, these approaches are prioritized because they reflect real-world earning potential and market expectations. So, basically, the company's net asset value or yung NAV po is often ignored if it is lower than these estimates. However, when net asset value or yung NAV is higher, the NAV is given more importance. So this scenario is, mas common siya sa mga asset-heavy businesses. For example, sa mga real estates or yung mga holding companies. So all in all, appraisers assign weightage to each method based on industry norms, company specifics, and reliability of data. So they ensure that the final valuation is not only mathematically sound but also reflects economic and market realities. So reconciliation is the final step that brings everything together to create a logical and justifiable business valuation.
So now let's proceed to the common methods in business valuation. So as we all know, business valuation is the process to obtain the economic value of the business. So professional evaluators take all the details of the company to reach the value of the company using different valuation methods. And based on our previous topics, we have three different approaches, which are the asset approach, income approach, and market approach. So now let's proceed to the asset approach. However, I'm just going to give you an overview about the asset approach since it is already discussed by the previous reporters. So when we say asset approach, it is the value based on what the company owns. So it is a method that values a business or an asset based on the total worth of what the company owns or their assets minus what the company owes or their liabilities. So imagine yourself, you have your own bakery, you have ovens, equipments, furnitures, money in the bank, but you also have some debt. So the total value of your bakery is the total worth of your asset minus the total liabilities of your company. So we have here a simple formula. As you can see, the asset-based value is equal to the total assets minus total liabilities. So next, we have the income approach. When we say income approach, it is the value based on the company's earnings potential. So it is a method that determines the value of a business, a property, or asset based on how much money it is expected to make in the future. So imagine yourself, you have your own coffee shop, and then you earn a profit of 250,000 pesos a year. And then your buyer wants to know how much money they can earn from it in the future over the next few years. So dito na papasok yung discounted cash flow method. So this looks on the expected future income and then adjust it to today's value. Kasi nga diba, a money today is worth more than money in the future. So this is best for businesses who generates consistent income. So lastly, we have the market approach. When we say market approach, it is the value based on similar sales. So this is a method that estimates the asset by comparing it to a similar asset that have been recently sold. So we have here the two most common methods under market approach. So we have the public company comparable method and the precedent transaction method. When we say public company comparable method, it is like comparing your asset or your company to a similar company or asset. So for example, you are selling a car. So before mo ipabenta yung kotse mo, i-check mo muna yung ibang kotse na same sa'yo kung magkano nila pinapabenta para ganun na rin yung maging presyo ng kotse mo. And next naman is yung precedent transaction method. So this method naman looks at past company sales. So for example, magpapabenta ka ng house and lot. So i-check mo muna kung meron bang house and lot na same sa'yo na napabenta na daan, and then kung magkano yung presyo na napabenta nila, yun na rin ang gawin mong basis as price para doon sa pinapabenta mo na house and lot. So as you can see, meron tayong table that will help you understand each valuation method and what makes them different as well. So as you can see, I have a table that demonstrates how different valuation methods are reconciled and to determine the accurate and fair value of a company. So as you can see, meron siyang tatlong method pa rin: the discounted cash flow method, the asset approach, and the market approach. So, as you can see based on the table, meron kayong makikitang marketability adjustment. So, yung marketability adjustment is also called as discount for lack of marketability. So, this accounts for the difficulty of selling a business. So, if an asset or a business is harder to sell, then the value should be reduced to reflect this limitation. So, as you can see, yung DCF or discounted cash flow and market approach has a 30% of marketability adjustment, whereas yung asset approach has a 0%. So maybe you're wondering kung bakit ganun. So yung asset approach kasi is 0%. That is because in this method, the company assumes that the assets are tangible and easier to sell. So since the valuation is based on physical assets rather than market demand for ownership, there is no need for marketability discount. Unlike sa DCF and market approach, it depends on how easily shares or ownership are sold, so they require a marketability discount, which is 30%. So yung 30% is just a sample or given. So hindi yun siya constant talaga na 30%. So now as you can see, meron tayong value of the company's equity prior to marketability adjustment. So, for example is nakuha na natin yung company's equity using the different approaches. So, sa DCF, meron tayong 10,100,000. Sa asset approach naman, 9,300,000. Sa market approach naman is 9,300,000 din. And then, we just need to less the marketable adjustment. So, para makuha yun is, i-multiply lang natin yung percentage doon sa value of the company's equity. So, sa DCF, multiply lang yung 10,100,000 sa 30% to get 3,030,000. Sa asset approach naman is i-multiply lang yung 0% sa 9,300,000 to get 0. And then sa market approach naman is i-multiply yung 30% doon sa 9,300,000 to get 2,790,000. And then, i-deduct natin yung value of the company's equity doon sa marketable adjustment to get the non-controlling, non-marketable value of the company's equity. So lastly, we have the concluded value. So the concluded value is the final estimated total value of the company. So to get this, we just need to get the average of the DCF, the asset approach, and the market approach. So i-add lang natin yung 7,070,000 plus 9,300,000 plus 6,510,000. So the total is 22,880,000 divided by 3. So the answer is 7,626,666.66666. However, based on the table, it is rounded average. So the answer is $7,630,000. So that's all about my report. Thank you.
So, good morning everyone. Next topic natin is ang process of reconciliation. So, ang process of reconciliation or ang reconciliation is the final step in the business valuation process. So, dito, appraiser reviews and combines the values derived from different valuation methods to determine final reliable value for the company. So, next, let's talk about who does the reconciliation or sino yung gumagawa ng reconciliation or who are the professionals who does the reconciliation. So first, syempre, is ang certified business appraisers. These professionals are experts in business valuation, certified by organizations like the Institute of Business Appraisers. They specialize in valuing business for mergers, acquisitions, litigation, financial reporting, and tax purposes. Next, syempre is ang mga CPAs with valuation expertise. Next is yung accredited valuation analysts or certified valuation analysts. These professionals are certified by the National Association of Certified Valuators and Analysts. They specialize in business valuations for legal disputes, taxation, and investment decisions. Next is ang investment bankers or ang M&A advisors. Investment bankers focus on mergers and acquisitions, helping companies buy, sell, or merge with other businesses. They perform valuations to determine the best deal structure and pricing in negotiations. Next is ang enrolled agents or ang tax experts. So, tax experts. Kailangan ng tax experts in this type of reconciliation kasi while valuation is not primarily or ang tax experts is not primarily connected but they may assist in valuations related to tax purposes such as estate planning, gift taxes, and IRS disputes. Ang enrolled agents or ang tax experts, sometimes valuation is needed for tax-related purposes. Kaya kasali sila isa sila sa mga professionals who does the reconciliation. So let's proceed to the reconciliation process. So first, the appraiser would use or syempre gagamitin yung tatlong approaches which are income approach, asset approach, and yung market approach valuation. So syempre, aside from the three mentioned approaches, meron pang ibang methods and processes kung paano magano ng value ng isang company. So, since different processes and methods can be used, the appraiser usually has to ensure or kailangan niya siguraduhin na yung pinipili niyang method is magbigay siya ng tama or accurate and reliable valuation ng company kung magkano talaga yung company. So, syempre, yung mga methods used or yung mga methods na gagamitin ng appraiser is based on sa appraiser's knowledge and experience sa work na yon and or sa work niya na nag-value siya ng and it is also impacted by the company's industry. So based sa nabasa ko and sa mga na-research ko, bakit ba kailangan appropriate yung approach na gamitin sa isang business? So first, for example, ang isang restaurant, syempre, ang restaurant, yung value ng restaurant, nakadepende siya sa profit, sa customer base and brand reputation, rather than just the physical assets. So, income approach is the best choice because the restaurant's earnings determine its value. Next is ang market approach. Pwede mo rin gamitin yung market approach sa restaurant by comparing it to similar restaurants that were recently sold. Next is sabi natin ang real estate company. So, ang real estate company, syempre they owns multiple properties, making its value largely based on its real estate assets. So, syempre, asset approach is the best choice since the value comes from property holdings. And also, market approach may also be used kasi by comparing it to other real estate firms. So, bakit nga ba mahalaga or importante yung pagpili ng appropriate na approach sa business na i-value mo? Syempre, para mas appropriate and hindi niya ma-undervalue yung business by halimbawa sa restaurant, by using asset approach, it would undervalue the business by ignoring its profits. Sa naman, if estate company will use income approach, it would miss the actual property values. So, after determining kung ano yung mga approaches na gagamitin, next is ang weighting evaluation, or ito na yung gina-weight mo yung different approaches kung gaano siya ka-relevant and reliable. So, let's define weighting first. In valuation, it refers to the process of assigning different levels of importance to the values derived from multiple valuation methods or approaches to arrive at a final business value. So, since different approaches can yield different results, weighting helps balance them based on their relevance to the specific business being valued. So, paano nag-work yung weighting process or ang weighting evaluation? So, syempre, pag sinabi mong weight, yung mas mataas na weight or yung higher weight, doon siya nilalagay sa approach na more reliable and much relevant dun sa business. Kumbaga, mas related siya sa business na approach. Like yung sa example natin kanina, yung sa restaurant and yung sa real estate. So, syempre, sa real estate, mas relevant yung asset approach and market approach. While sa real estate naman, ang sa restaurant, ulitin ko, mas appropriate yung income approach, while sa real estate, mas appropriate yung asset approach. Tapos, they both have, relevant din yung market approach sa kanila both. So, yun. Para ma-determine mo yung weight nila, syempre, yung higher weight, ilalagay mo siya dun sa most reliable and relevant na method. And while yung less relevant ones will get, syempre, the lower weight. So, ang weight po ng sa valuation, hindi lang siya based lang solely sa appraiser. Syempre, it is determined using a combination of factors like sa nature ng business, sabi ko kanina, sa restaurant and sa real estate company, ito ganyan, and sa industry standards. Next is availability and quality of data. Kung reliable ba yung market data na kinunan or halimbawa sa market approach, syempre, kung reliable yung market data na nakunan mo, yung market approach na gagamitin mo is mas makakuha siya ng mas mataas na rate kasi mas relevant siya. And next is ang purpose ng valuation. Next is yung, syempre, pasok pa rin yung professional judgment ng appraiser. So, para mas maintindihan yung weighting or yung pag-weight, meron tayong illustration dito, dalawang illustration. First is yung restaurant na example natin kanina. So, in this illustration, simple lang yung mga given na nakalagay dito. And meron tayong different approaches, yung income approach, market approach, and asset approach. So, according sa income approach, yung value ng company is 1.2 million. And sa market, 1.1 million, and sa assets is 600,000. Ang weight nag-i-assign niya sa income, syempre kasi restaurant siya, parang mas nag-focus yung restaurant diba sa profits nila, kaya yung weight niya is 50%, yung market 40%, and yung asset approach is nasa 10%. So yung 50% i-times mo siya sa value ng income approach, yung 1.2 million, naging 600,000 yung weighted value. And yung 1.1 million, naging 440,000 yung value. And 600,000, naging 60,000 yung weighted value. I-add lang yung weighted value, 600,000 plus 440,000 plus 60,000. Ang weighted value or ang restaurant's final value is yung 1,100,000. And ang next illustration natin is yung real estate company. The same valuation approach. Meron tayong asset, market, and income approach. Yung value, according to asset approach ng real estate company is 3 million. And yung market approach naman, meron 2.6 million. And sa income approach is 3.5 million. And according to the weights yung asset is 60%, market approach is 30%, and yung income approach is 10%. 3 million times 60%, 1.8 million, 2.6 million times 30%, 780,000, and yung income approach na 2,500,000 times 10% is 250. So ang real estate company final value natin is yung dito sa baba, 2,830,000. Ganun lang siya kasimple, like yung example lang simple lang siya. Pero merong ibang mga solving na complicated siya, pero yung binigyan namin na example is much simpler para mas kumbaga parang mas makuha yung idea kung paano nag-work yung reconciliation ng na value sa mga different approaches. So in reconciliation process na in valuation, meron tayong advantages and disadvantages. So ang first is yung disadvantages. Syempre, kapag we use reconciliation process, it ensures accuracy and reliability because it helps verify and adjust the values derived from different valuation methods, ensuring that the final value reflects the most accurate and reliable result. Kumbaga, close to accurate yung ginabigay na information kapag ginagamit yung reconciliation process na evaluation. Next is also it improves credibility by addressing discrepancies between methods and providing a justified final value. Reconciliation increases the credibility of the valuation, making it more acceptable sa mga stakeholders. Next is it helps identify key drivers. Reconciliation highlights which methods or factors have the greatest influence on the business value, helping to better understand the underlying strengths or weaknesses of the company. Syempre yung sa different industries, meron silang different strengths and weaknesses. And it also supports decision making. A reconciliation process helps stakeholders like investors, buyers, or legal authorities make more informed decisions, whether in mergers, acquisitions, or financial reporting. So meron din tayong mga risks or disadvantages. One of the risks is syempre baka yung napili na approach ng appraiser is hindi siya applicable sa company or sa industry. And it also meron ding tayong risk sa data limitation. Syempre kapag hindi yung reliable data is not available for certain methods, the reconciliation process may result in an inaccurate final value. And kapag may mga syempre kapag ka nag reconcile ng valuation, it needs or yung costs na mabigay niya yung cost. Syempre the process often requires highly trained appraisers with specific expertise, leading to higher costs for businesses or clients commissioning the valuation. The reconciliation process in business valuation is essential for ensuring the final value reflects the most accurate and relevant data from multiple valuation methods. By weighing the importance of each method, appraisers can balance discrepancies and arrive at a credible and well-supported business value. While it enhances accuracy and reliability, the process requires careful judgment, reliable data, and can be time-consuming. Overall, reconciliation strengthens the valuation process, making it more dependable for decision-making in business transactions. Thank you.